As some of you guys might remember, the last time you saw a video from me, we were working on this 1985 CR500. So this bike had probably been sitting for around 20 years, and that's a long time for an engine to be sitting. So we did get it running in the original steel frame, and it ran great. Just a little bit on the rich side of carburation, if you ask me. So in last week's episode, we took that 85 engine out of its original chassis and we dropped it into this 2007 CR500, well, converted to 500 anyway, but it was a 2007 CRF450R that has been converted to accept the CR500 engine. So today, as promised, we're gonna take this thing out, see what this thing's about. I have no idea how this thing's gonna react. I did have to set the sag and mess with a couple things just to get it ready for doing some more trail style enduro riding. But I'm really kind of excited. I'm interested to see how this thing's manners are, if it's still really docile or if it's, you know, too much vibration, or I don't know. So we need to take it out, find out, because I'm really excited. So let's do it. Oh, what's up guys? Clint Lund here with Lund MX. Today we're on the CR500AF. We're gonna play around, and actually one thing that I've never tried on a 500 before is like doing some like tight technical enduro stuff. So I'm actually kind of keen to see how it is. I got my son with me today. He's screwing in some laps, and but we're gonna kind of go do some like tight twitch back tight. I've been riding on, I think I'm dehydrated. I don't know. Are you supposed to pee a lot? I can't remember. Anyways, we are out in the back hills and it's so rad out here. The dirt is just absolutely perfect. I'm gonna get you a shot right now. Let me check this out. Check this out, check out the dirt. Look at the dirt, like it's chocolate cake. Oh. Yeah, we're having a blast out here. We found this like little, I don't know, enduro track. I'll take you for a quick lap on this thing. Unfortunately, didn't realize till afterwards, had my GoPro pointed a little far down, but you get the point. You could still see good enough to see me trying to rip around on this thing. But we've been going up and down rock washes and tight single track. I mean, awesome tight single track. So. Oh, he just wanted to blow it out for the camera. He's been doing laps, I promise. He's been doing laps on that 112. He loves that 112. Man, that thing's cool. So, let's show you guys the steed, right? So there is the 07 CRF 450R with the 85 CR500 engine in it. Thing is rad. So we've been riding for about 3 or 4 hours. I have had to fill up once. She is thirsty, as you would guess, but guys, she's like legitimately fun. It tingles though. I mean, compared to the steel frames, they tingle a bit. I mean, a lot. So, but anyways, let's go get a little ride in, and we'll see just how much trouble we get ourselves into. Let's go. You want to try that sand wash? You want to try that wash?
How fun was that?
That was fun.
That wash was sick.
Yeah.
A little technical.
I couldn't see you at the end. I don't know if you went on.
Yeah, I know. That's why I stood there with my bike on so you could find me.
Yeah, I kept on turning off my bike to hear you.
Whew, that was fun. Yeah. That was a good one.
So I'll say this straight away. After riding it for more than an hour now, this bike is super compliant. What I mean by that is it is very, very predictable. I know exactly what it's going to do when I come into a turn. I know exactly what it's going to do when I hit a rock, or if I glance off of a rock. It doesn't deflect or do anything crazy. But I'll say this, I could definitely tell the difference between a steel and aluminum chassis. Now, I know that kind of sounds like, yeah, you should be able to tell that, but let's be honest. The aluminum frame really being so much more stiff and rigid kind of gives a different style of rider feedback that I'm not used to. See, riding usually like on a steel frame, on an original frame CR or KX500, you can feel the flex, and it's actually kind of a nice thing to have, because especially when you're trying to work through trails and get the bike through certain technical sections, you could feel the bike kind of giving and flexing, which is, like I said, it's kind of nice. But when you have a nice rigid aluminum frame like this, the rider feedback is a little bit more profound, meaning like you can definitely feel when the tires are biting a little bit more. You can feel when like the biting edge of the tire hooks, or when it's slipping. So it kind of adds some predictability that I wasn't exactly ready for, but at the same time I was really glad to feel it. So having said that, guys, this bike is actually super predictable, which is great for these kind of rides where you're just in very cobbly rock and the bike wants to glance and dance everywhere on a normal configuration. But this one, I can kind of predict and feel that difference. So that's kind of nice. Tom Parachu over at TP Welding did an amazing job on fabricating this frame. It is super, super good. I love this setup. The bars are a little too high for me, but Tom, this was his bike. And I know he's over like 6'2", even probably a few more inches on top of that. So it doesn't surprise me that he wanted tall bars on it, but that's one of the changes I want to make in the future. It does have the Scott steering stabilizer. What do you call that thing? This Scott steering stabilizer under the bars, which I know one of the risers is on there to kind of accommodate that. I don't know if I need that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing too much high-speed, wide open, like whoop section stuff where you definitely need that use of the steering stabilizer on there, but it's nice to have. It feels great. You could definitely feel it when you get into some sketchy situations, but for the most part, I don't think I need it. Side note, I would really like to point out my son is just getting amazing on that 112. I've noticed he's had a really good rider stance. He stands up through tight technical stuff. He doesn't sit down and foot plant, which is a good trait. You need to be able to be over the bike, and you need to have your center of balance, in the middle of the seat, where that's where he's putting it. And he's doing a really good job of that. Proud of that kid. He's going through all the same things that I would on the 500. I didn't take up any like softer or easier trails. I actually kind of looked for the harder stuff just to see what his limits were, and he powered through everything. Kid's a good rider.
That's steeper than we thought, huh? Hold that front and rear brake. Can you kind of foot step it down, like if you get off?
That's what I'm
Atta boy. It's always best when you see one guy like that to assume he's not alone. So trails like this, it's best just to like stop, turn off your bike, listen, see if you hear any bikes coming up.
sorry.
No, it's all right, I'm just teaching you. I don't hear anything, so we're probably okay, but still, better safe than head on.
So what's interesting is down in like these tight, really technical things, I bumped up my idle just a bit so the bike wouldn't flame out. I didn't have any issues with the bike flaming out. I just didn't want it to have it happen. And on these older carburetors, the only way to really set the idle is to put some tension on the throttle cable. So I did that and it was fine. The cable doesn't bind anywhere, so the throttle cable doesn't bind anywhere, so there's no problems with it having like a high idle or something like that. But it was nice to raise the idle. It kind of gave me a little bit more confidence in these really tight technical areas, so I didn't flame out. So that was really nice to have. The bike did get warm a couple times, and I have a feeling that's because I didn't completely bleed all the air from the system, so I am going to have to go back. And one thing that Adam Miller taught me was if you actually hoist the front end up in the air and then you start it, let it run, and while it's kind of like in a wheelie, if you will, it'll cough that water up to the radiator, then you can more sufficiently fill it up. So I'm probably going to try that. And then obviously too, we're going to get started on that 85 chassis really soon, getting that thing sent off so we can get that restored. But man, this bike is an absolute blast.
Now, obviously, you guys know I'm not the best rider in the world. Shoot, I'm not even that good, but I love riding. And so it doesn't matter how good you are, guys. Get off the couch, load your bike up, or if you're like me, ride down your street. Just go find some epic riding, you know, just go find some. This is just so epic out here, the diverse terrain. It's so rad. I love it. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna close it down here. I just want to take you guys on a little test ride on this CR500 now. We are gonna put this, so after last video, I did see overwhelming support, we'll just say, for keeping it in the 85 frame, which I completely agree with, because I know it's not exactly like cars, like where numbers are matching and stuff like that, but that is engine that came inside that 85 when it left Honda, and that's important to keep those ways. So I am going to be pulling this engine back out of the AF over there and throwing that into the 85 after we get that thing all done. So, but we will keep our eyes peeled for another engine for that thing. That's important, because that thing is rad. It's really a lot of fun to ride. The only part that I'd say is uncomfortable for me is in the mid-range of the power band, when that engine really gets kind of a high rev to it, but not quite revved out all the way. You could feel it coming through your feet and bars and ass cheeks, everything. So yeah, we're gonna keep this one rolling. I'm gonna look for another engine for that thing, but man, hot dog, that thing's rad. Love you guys so much. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for going around a little trail ride with me today from beautiful, scenic northern Nevada. That's Tahoe up there. It's close by. Love your soon one, you guys. I will talk to you guys soon. That's a promise. Peace out for now. Bye-bye.